We are broadcasting live, apologies, from Circle K in O'Toole Centre here in Tullow this morning, and we're joined on site by a number of students of the TV and media course from SETU in Carlow. They are Max Jones, Tyler, Riley Byrne and Keela Toner. Good morning, gents and ladies. Great to have you all with us. You're involved in a new project trying to highlight, I believe, artists in the region. Max, tell us why you decided to take on this project.
Well, it was really a long road to get here, Brian. Like, we started out as a video production company straight. That was it. And as we moved on, we realised we wanted to cater to these smaller artists, these student artists. And the thing about that is they don't have a lot of funding, they don't have a lot of time, and it's very hard for them. So what we said instead is, why don't we pivot? Why don't we become a community for these small artists to grow and get them to the level where maybe a manager could step in or a promoter could step in? And that's really what we're trying to achieve at the moment.
Tyler, we often have up-and-coming artists on the show, and it is a difficult transition for them, the point where they decide that not just music is something that they're passionate about, but maybe they want to try and make a go of it as a career. They obviously need the help and support of people like managers or PRs and that type of thing, but maybe aren't at quite that level. The foundation, that the company that you set up, Mystkvisualmedia, is that the little bit of help that you think they're going to offer?
That would be what we intend anyway. We kind of have that idea of everyone has their own vision, their creative view, what they want out of it. And we would just want to take that out of their minds and put it onto a camera, put it onto a screen, and kind of dictate that properly. Again, as Max said, there's not a lot of funding, there's not a lot of...
And the support and everything else.
Support and everything, yeah. We understand as creatives, it's difficult to get noticed, it's difficult to get out there and seen. And we just want to help them, give them the chance to be noticed, to be seen through that creative outlet.
And Keela, you know, from the company's perspective, if you like, you know, you set up that company, Mystkvisualmedia. It probably would have been more commercially viable for you to be going around doing promotional videos for businesses, etc., etc. But to be able to work with other creatives, presumably, will give you a much more creative product, a much more enjoyable product at the end of it.
Definitely, yeah. Like, maybe it would have been like more viable to go down the kind of more commercial route, but we find it a lot more rewarding to work with smaller artists. We've had like a few over the years who we've built up a good working relationship with, and it's so nice to help these artists and for them to help us as well. Like, kind of, it's a give and take really for them and for us to kind of just bring each other up.
And Max, are you all still students in SETU, also at college?
Yeah, no, we're still full-time students. This year was our placement semester, and that's kind of what led us down this path. We're working with the SETU Growth Hub, which is a program for startup businesses like ourselves. And it really filled in those gaps that we had in the business section of it, the registration, the taxes, all that kind of stuff that we just go, oh, we want to make cool looking stuff. And they're like, yeah, but you need money. And we're like, oh, I guess. Yeah. So that's kind of what, it's been really helpful. Margaret Tynan is kind of running that for us, and she's amazing and been helping us every step of the way. So,
I mean, being a student is all about learning. I mean, it's one thing to have the creative ideas, Tyler, but I mean, that idea of learning what it's like to run a business, has that been a steep learning curve?
It has been a learning curve, definitely, especially in terms of like finance and taxation and all the like legislation we have to go through to actually get locations to let us in, get actors to let us in, figuring out how to film stuff and where to film stuff, pretty much. Growth Hub definitely has been a big help. They have a lot of resources that they provide to us that help us to understand how it applies to our business, which has been very, very useful in actually setting it up.
And from your perspective, Keela, in terms of the business itself, you're all still students. Do you expect the business to live beyond your term as students in SETU? Is this the plan for the future after college life?
That's the hope anyway, yeah. We're definitely going to continue it during the summer and go hell for leather with it, and put as much work into it as we can, and then see how it grows from there, and then hopefully just goes from strength to strength, really, and we can take it on after we graduate.
And Max, are you reaching out to artists, or are you hoping that they'll reach out to you?
Every day we're reaching out to more artists. We're checking them out. We're looking at the amazing work they're doing, and we also have help from other small artists. Mac Rua have been an amazing help to us about meeting just more artists, because they're always running events in Ewings, and they're on the St. Patrick's Day Parade, all this amazing stuff. And they're always introducing us to these incredible new artists that we haven't ever thought about before, and getting to work with them just through Mac Rua has been amazing.
Tyler, maybe a difficult question, maybe an easy one, I'm not quite sure, but I mean, if there are an artist that you haven't yet worked with, particularly a local one that comes to mind, who would you like to have agree to work on a project with you next?
Well, see, we've been trying to get in contact with a lot of people going into the Mystk Roots Festival up in Kilkenny, coming up in the next week or so. Honestly, any of them will be a massive avenue to get into. A lot of connections, a lot of interest, and a lot of unique music that they put out. That would be a lot of fun to work with.
And Keela, with stuff like the Roots Festival and so many festivals around the region that are arts based, is it going to be a bit of guerrilla warfare maybe to make your mark, just turning up and doing stuff without even asking for permission, or even, you know, seeking somebody to work with just to prove how good the work that you guys can do is?
It might be, but you know, we've reached out to a lot of the Roots artists already. We're going to make sure that we're going to, you know, talk to all the venues and stuff as well that's holding events for the Redmond Roots Festival, and hopefully we can get as much work out of it as possible. And the same with any other music festival that's coming up around Kilkenny and Carlow and across the country, really. Just see what we can get into.
Well, congratulations on what you've achieved so far. And if there are any artists listening to us this morning, it's Mystkvisualmedia that you're looking for. The guys are here with us, but you'll find them, of course, and be able to reach out to them. I'm sure they'd be delighted to work with you and for you. But joining us here, Max Jones, Tyler, Riley Byrne and Keela Toners. Thank you very much for joining us.